The little town of Great Winglebury is exactly 42 miles and 3/4 from Hyde Park Corner. It has a long, straggling, quiet high street, with a great black and white clock at a small red town hall halfway up. A market-place, a cage, an assembly room, a church, a bridge, a chapel, a theatre, a library, an inn, a pump, and a post office. Tradition tells of a little Winglebury, down some cross-road about 2 miles off, and as a square mass of dirty paper, supposed to have been originally intended for a letter, with certain tremulous characters inscribed thereon, in which a lively imagination might trace a remote resemblance to the word little, was once stuck up to be owned in the sunny window of the Great Winglebury post office, from which it only disappeared when it fell to pieces with dust and extreme old age, there would appear to be some foundation for the legend. Common belief is inclined to bestow the name upon a little hole at the end of a muddy lane about a couple of miles long, colonized by one wheelwright, 4 paupers, and a beer shop. But even this authority, slight as it is, must be regarded with extreme suspicion, inasmuch as the inhabitants of the hole aforesaid concur in opining that it never had any name at all, from the earliest ages down to the present day. The Winglebury Arms, in the centre of the High Street, opposite the small building with the big clock, is the principal inn of Great Winglebury. The commercial inn, posting-house, and excise office, the Blue House at every election, and the Judge's House at every assizes. It is the headquarters of the Gentlemen's Whist Club of Winglebury Blues, so called in opposition to the Gentlemen's Whist Club of Winglebury Buffs, held at the other house a little further down. And whenever a juggler or waxwork man or concert giver takes Great Winglebury in his circuit, it is immediately placarded all over the town that Mr. So-and-so, trusting to that liberal support which the inhabitants of Great Winglebury have long been so liberal in bestowing, has at great expense engaged the elegant and commodious assembly rooms attached to the Winglebury Arms. The house is a large one, with a red brick and stone front. A pretty spacious hall, ornamented with evergreen plants, terminates in a perspective view of the bar and a glass case, in which are displayed a choice variety of delicacies ready for dressing, to catch the eye of a newcomer the moment he enters, and excite his appetite to the highest possible pitch. Opposite doors lead to the coffee and commercial rooms, and a great wide rambling staircase, 3 stairs and a landing, 4 stairs and another landing, 1 step and another landing, half a dozen stairs and another landing, and so on, conducts to galleries of bedrooms and labyrinths of sitting rooms, denominated private, where you may enjoy yourself as privately as you can in any place where some bewildered being walks into your room every 5 minutes, by mistake, and then walks out again to open all the doors along the gallery until he finds his own. Such is the Winglebury Arms at this day, and such was the Winglebury Arms some time since, no matter when, 2 or 3 minutes before the arrival of the London stage. 4 horses with cloths on, changed for a coach, were standing quietly at the corner of the yard, surrounded by a listless group of postboys in shiny hats and smock frocks, engaged in discussing the merits of the cattle. Half a dozen ragged boys were standing a little apart, listening with evident interest to the conversation of these worthies, and a few loungers were collected round the horse trough, awaiting the arrival of the coach. The day was hot and sunny, the town in the zenith of its dullness, and with the exception of these few idlers, not a living creature was to be seen. Suddenly the loud notes of a key-bugle broke the monotonous stillness of the street. In came the coach, rattling over the uneven paving with a noise startling enough to stop even the large-faced clock itself. Down got the outsides, up went the windows in all directions, out came the waiters, up started the ostlers and the loungers and the postboys and the ragged boys, as if they were electrified, unstrapping and unchaining and unbuckling and dragging willing horses out and forcing reluctant ones in, and making a most exhilarating bustle.